No.
What time is the press conference? What time?
I don't know.
Oh, they haven't started yet.
I ain't called you up today. Are we missing anything? You gotta help me fill in my calendar.
Oh, I got a lot of stuff. Give me a call. I am we will fill it up.
Hey, how you doing, Chief?
I'm outstanding. How are you? What is this?
Look,
I'm from the government. I'm here.
just you know.
Negative feedback, positive feedback, is it still worth it to you to be able to do this?
Well, I think that anytime that you do something to enhance public safety, to hold people accountable, to get people talking and thinking about drinking and driving, the consequences of drinking and driving, it's a win for this community. And when you look at our numbers here in Austin and throughout Texas and throughout the country, people dying in drunk driving crashes, absolutely it's worth it.
You still have people who say that this is, violates their rights, violates the Constitution. I know we've had some judges who say it's okay.
Actually, we've had courts of appeal, appellate courts, and the Supreme Court has weighed in on warrant arrest. But people have to realize that these arrests are based on probable cause, where an officer is committing under the influence. And in terms of the search warrants, that's just that. It's a search warrant issued by a judge, subject to judicial review if the officer is enacting an affidavit, and subject to being quashed if we're not accurate or truthful in an affidavit. So there's a process. It's been vetted in the courts, and it is not a Fourth Amendment or a Fifth Amendment issue.
Did you think you'd have this much flack about this when you started it?
Absolutely. It is. You're going to have a segment of the population that doesn't trust government. Anything that the government does that they consider an intrusion, they're going to protest. But at the end of the day, I think that most Americans are very moderate people. They understand that we're killing tens of thousands of people a year on our highways. Nearly 50% of all crashes are caused by drunks, and you know that it's worth trying to do something to stem that flow of death and destruction.
What if this organization is able to get something on the council agenda to make that would no longer allow you to do this?
Well, I don't want to speculate on that. The reality is, this is law enforcement investigating crimes is not a policy issue. It's an issue of law. It's a matter of law, and I think people are confusing. Accepting grant monies. That's it's the purview of the law enforcement has to be that we have to enforce the law consistent with constitutional requirements. But this is not a policy decision. It's a law issue. So I don't want to speculate, but I guess we'd have to cross that bridge if that came out.
Okay. And final question, real quick. Is the officer who had the guns taken out of his car, is that going to change policy, anything APD as far as keeping guns?
You know what? I went on my first scheduled vacation since I've been here, and I haven't had a time to really look at that yet.
Cool. That'll work.
All right.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Well, let's just let them finish their mode, and y'all are going to be free to come down here and ask questions. You're going to be free to get, put cards up and get your questions in. Okay, please, you all.
There's a place for civil disobedience, but if we're interrupting our event, guys, we're not going to get through this. So we're just asking, again, if you can please minimize the disruptions. If you keep it up.
It relates to evidentiary process, and that raises a host of other questions for me. And then thirdly is the cost to the taxpayers. What we found out in the DNA legislation that's found at the state is that it's going to cost.
If I can get 7 staff members, 7 people that work for the city to be phlebotomists.
Pokey, I gotta tell you, the absurdity, the sublimeness of having a 2-hour discussion on if we should put people in jail and take their blood for what is in a sense a pre-crime or a thought crime would, I think, even put George Orwell spinning in his grave. We're not talking about constitutional rights, we're not talking about laws to protect us, and it's well quoted, those who give up their liberty for security deserve neither liberty nor security. What we're talking about is pre-crime, thought crimes. I might, if I'm drunk enough, hit somebody and cause damage and hurt somebody. What we're not talking about is what to do with the people that actually wreck their cars, cause damage in property because they're drunk driving or they hurt somebody, God forbid. Shouldn't they be made an example of for the rest of us? Shouldn't they never have a license as long as they live? I really have no problem laying it on thick for those people that get caught drunken driving and cause property damage or personal damage or damage to life and liberty. So again, here's a forum with nobody mentioning that really the laws that they're trying to pass now, they didn't mention the other 20 things that this bait and switch traitor is currently trying to institute as law here in Austin, Texas. The license scanners and readers, the forced DNA testing, not if you're just drunk, but if you get pulled over for almost any reason to go into a national database. God forbid we know what actually happens to all of this DNA gathered databases on all the people. This is becoming more and more like 1984 every day, and I would think that the people of Austin, Texas, unlike the people of Los Angeles and San Francisco and Chicago and New York and wherever else, would have a much more of a mind to stop this and to nip it in the bud. At this point, I would rather have Chief Nee back here in Austin, Texas, who was one of the most corrupt police chiefs we've ever had, who beat people mercilessly on the street. At least he didn't try what this guy tried. And very much like what we saw with Bush and Obama, you put the evil Bush in and people are so grateful to have the affable Obama. It's the very same thing with this chief, Art Acevedo. I want to make sure your viewers understand the correct pronunciation of his name because he's sodomizing us all. Acevedo. No disrespect. I just want to make sure to get the pronunciation right. By the way, it's Cheney, not Cheney. And he can actually be in a room where I get both of their blood. And I just think this is absolutely ludicrous, Pokey. We're talking about pre-crime and thought crime here. Let's just get that straight. Let's just be very clear on what we're debating. Thank you very much. Watch the Pokey Show every day I do.
That's Jack Blood, folks. Thank you, sir.